Hey everybody, welcome back to your audio recording class. My name is McKay Tebbs, and I'm going to be talking about the final project. But I hope that you had a good experience in this class, and I hope that if you have any questions, you'll reach out to me and ask. Anyway, hopefully you had a good time. So let's go over the details in your final project so that you'll know what to expect. I'm going to share my screen with you. So your final project, final portfolio project, my hope with this project is that you'll be able to include it in your portfolio that you're beginning to build as a Master's of Music Technology student. And anyway, hopefully it'll be a really good project for you that will showcase your talents and abilities. At this point in the semester, you've basically learned it all. First of all, you've completed audio recording 1 class, and now you're at the end of audio recording 2 classes. So you know you've learned new mixing concepts in this class, the importance of balance, panorama, frequency, dimension, dynamics. And then you've also learned some Pro Tool skills like loop record, loop play, elastic audio, how to do volume and panning, automation, and create submixes. And so it's time to take all of that stuff and to apply it to this final project. So for this final project, what you're going to do is you're going to be writing and recording an original piece of music that highlights your strengths as a recording engineer and a music producer. So your goal should be to create an impressive musical statement that will become a central part of your portfolio. I want you to do your best to create your best piece of work. I'm purposely leaving some of the parameters of this vague because I want you to apply your own creativity to coming up with things like the instrumentation and the genre that you're trying to do. So really, it could be any genre, any style that you like. You could include any instruments that you like, and I want to leave that up to you because I'm hoping that you'll jump into this with your own creative ideas that you've been wanting to bring out and to bring to life. There is a time limit though, 4 to 6 minutes. So I want you to create a piece of music that's at least 4 minutes long, at most 6 minutes long. And that's what we're going for here. Now, keep in mind that you're not going to be judged on your composition or songwriting abilities. That's a whole nother thing. And I want you to just do the best with wherever you are at as a songwriter to create something. But what this project really will be graded on is your ability to produce a professional level recording. So with that in mind, don't feel like you have to go out and purchase a bunch of or equipment that you don't already have to buy this. Just use whatever equipment you have, whatever microphones, whatever software, plugins, whatever MIDI plugins you have. Just use it and just make the best with what you've got, and that'll be fine for this project. But use what you have to come up with a really well-crafted recording. So let's take a little bit more of a close look at the actual requirements. So for the recording requirements, I'd like you to have at least 20 tracks in this session. I do want you to make it big. I want you to add instruments, both MIDI instruments and live audio instruments that are going to work together to create something that's big and epic, that makes a statement. So of those 20 tracks, you can use more if you want, but at least have 20. Make sure that some of those tracks are mono tracks. Make sure that some of those tracks are stereo tracks. And I'm going to let you decide which to do which with, which ones you want for which ones. It's up to you. Make sure you have some MIDI tracks. If I were you in this setting, I might include 10 or more MIDI tracks. Just because there's so much you could do to have different instrumentation helping out in a big production like this on the MIDI side of things. So definitely include all the MIDI tracks that you can think of that would enhance your project. Also use aux input tracks and use those for creating submixes. And when I look at your session, I'm going to want to see your submixes, and I'm going to want to pull that fader up and down and see which tracks it will affect. Also use these aux input tracks for effects, as effects tracks like delay and reverb, and then route and bus your tracks into the delay and reverb as the aux tracks. I want to see that you can do that. If you want to include vocals on this project, you can. If you want to have somebody sing or you sing, but you don't have to, it can be instrumental. If you don't have vocals though, just include a strong melodic instrument that's kind of the central focus of the track, or a group of instruments that are working together to be that central focus, whatever you feel like you want to do there. Please do include a master fader track and a click track, and use those in there. And then I want to see you apply the new Pro Tools things that we've been learning in the Pro Tools lessons. So, in this class, we talked about elastic audio and how you can use that to tighten up the timing of your audio files. Just like quantizing with a MIDI file, you can use elastic audio to essentially quantize the timing in your elastic audio. I want you to do that on at least 3 of your audio tracks. If you want to do it on all of them, you can, but 3 would be enough to let me know that you know what you're doing and you've tried it, and let me see. So for those 3 elastic audio tracks, when you finish your session, leave them in warp view so that when I open it up, I will see they're in warped view, and I'll be able to see the elastic audio editing that you've done on those tracks. I also want you to use automation, which was from lesson 9. So use panning and volume automation on at least 5 to 10 tracks. You can do it on all the tracks if you want, and maybe you should, especially if it's an ending and you're fading out. You're going to want to do that on all the tracks. But do it on at least 5 to 10 or whatever you feel is appropriate, and do it for both panning and volume, so I can see that you can do that. And anyway, I want to see that. I also want to see you create some mixing groups. So mixing groups from lesson 10 of Pro Tools, where you create the group, and then when you pull down the faders of that group, all the faders work together and will either pull down or up together. So create some mixing groups, and then be sure to include some drum and percussion tracks as well. And you decide if you want to do MIDI drums or if you want to record real drums. Either way is fine. You could also do a combination of both. That's totally up to you. But just make sure they're in there, that we got some percussion so that we can have that groove going on. That's really important to a good arrangement. So your song should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. In order to help you to have it be 4 to 6 minutes of length, I'm suggesting that you come up with more than one idea. I guess you might call it a melodic idea. So, a lot of times when you're writing a song, so you have a song form that goes verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, or in other styles of music, an A-B song form, AABA. I want you to come up with 2 or maybe even 3 different ideas, and I want you to be switching between those 2 and 3 ideas, just like in a real song. And this map right here is just to give you options of what you could do. So if you have 2 different ideas, you could just go to idea 1, idea 2, idea 1, idea 2. That's pretty simple, which is also known as A, B, A, B. Or you can include a 3rd section and go A, B, A, B, C, A. And you can mix and match this suggestion right here as you want. You don't have to take it literally. If you want to switch it and do A, B, B, A, and then do C and then B and then A. I mean, you can decide how you want to switch between your sections. I just want to hear that you have 2 or 3 ideas. And the reason I want to hear that is because if a song's 4 to 6 minutes long, it shouldn't just be one idea. It shouldn't just be one thing that's just stretched and looped. So whatever you do, do not submit a project that is just one idea repeated or looped for the whole 4 to 6 minutes. I want you to put more effort into it than that, and I want you to really try your hardest to come up with as good of a song as you can. Now, remember, you're not going to be graded on your songwriting abilities, but you are going to be graded on how you work your song in your DAW and how you put your song together in that DAW, meaning the form and structure of it. So think about those things. Next thing is the arrangement requirement, and in this case, arrangement requirement is specifically referring to Chapter 4 in the Mixing Engineer's Handbook, where it talks about the importance of an arrangement, where it talks about how when you're mixing, you can't really make something sound better if the arrangement itself to begin with isn't great. So I want you to review what it says about arrangement there on page 58 and 59. Make sure you check your mix with signs of an amateur mix on page 57 so that you're not going to submit something to me that has those signs in it. And what I'd really like you to do is in this next heading, the 6 elements of a great mix, make sure to include all 6 elements of this mix. So what are the 6 elements? It's balance, panorama. Balance is the levels, panorama is the panning, frequency range is the EQ, dimension is the delay and reverb, dynamics is the compression and limiting at the end. And then the interest is creating a groove and focusing on the most important part of the mix and emphasizing it. Review all those things, apply all those things to your mix, and don't submit a final project that doesn't have those things on it. That's kind of like submitting a half-baked cake for your baking final or something. I mean, I don't want you to just finish the recording and upload it. I want you to mix it. And by mix it, I mean, I want you to do these 6 steps. Now, these 6 steps were the same thing we did in the exercise song, The Wind. So over the last few weeks, you've gotten to know that song really good. And every week you've done another step to it to make that song better. So same thing with your final project. I want you to do all of those steps so that when you submit it, it's going to be as good as it can be. Then the last couple of things is just when you're done, bounce and share your mix. I want you to bounce out an MP3 file of it. I am creating a Canvas discussion, and I want you to upload that MP3 file to the Canvas discussion. And what that Canvas discussion is going to be is it's going to be an extra credit opportunity for you. So for uploading it, you'll get extra credit points. And then I want you to listen to each other's songs and see the projects that that the other people in the class have uploaded, so that you can see what they're working on. Because I really do believe that you get inspiration and you learn from the people in your class when you do that kind of thing. And I want you guys to have that kind of experience with each other. So you'll get 10 extra credit points just for uploading your song there. And then for every song you listen to and leave a comment for, you'll get 2 additional extra credit points. And so, you know, anyway, it could be an opportunity for extra credit if you need it and if you want it. But more than that, it's going to be an opportunity for you to learn what your peers are doing well and perhaps to incorporate some of that into your work and your life. So bounce and share your mix. And then finally, at the very end, upload your project. Yes, compress your project, save it, compress it, make sure all the audio files are in there so that when I open it, I will be able to have all your audio files show up. And then submit it up to the folder for week 7. And then that's where I will find it, and that's where I can grade it. And I guess that's it. So let me know if you have any questions about the final project. You can send me an email. And anyway, thank you so much for being in this class. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed teaching it, and I'm glad that we've been able to meet this way. So I guess I'll see you later, and have a good day.